All right, all right. How about it? We are here again for another Tuesday with our LinkedIn Live audience. As always, my name is Mitch Benson. I'm the franchise development manager here at A Place at Home, and I am joined by president and co-founder, Mr. Jerod Evanich. Jerod, how's it going?
It's going fantastic, Mitch. So glad to be here again to talk about one of my favorite topics, senior care and franchising.
Yo, that's perfect. Because today it's in a very special flavor of the topic, which is why senior care franchises are one of the fastest growing franchises, right? Um, and it's something that we get to talk about a lot. Our capacity is the development team here for a senior care franchise. But to me, as we set this up and answer, like, why are these concepts growing so fast? I kind of want to just share with everybody that you probably, if you have been searching for a franchise in the senior care space, perhaps you've seen a really long list of names, lots of different brands. Maybe you've seen any number of independent agencies in and around your community, or people that are somehow involved in the senior care space, right? And you're saying, wow, it just seems to be everywhere, right? It gives us kind of an omnipresent sort of vibe, like what we get to do to care for our aging loved ones seems to be all around us, right? That might give us this question, like, why is this happening? I'm seeing senior care literally everywhere. It's like half the brands I look up on any number of websites. And so you've come here to this LinkedIn Live to answer the age-old question, why senior care franchises are one of the fastest growing franchises. Jerod, you and I were talking a little bit, and I think we've come up with it. I think it's just a huge, huge demand for these services. What do you think?
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, over the top demand. And from the time we've entered this space at Place at Home back in 2012, I mean, we were just barely scratching the surface of the amount of demand that is out there. And even now, today, we've only yet just scratched the surface, right? I mean, we were looking at some Census Bureau information. We've got almost 56 million, like 55.8 million seniors today.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's 1 in 6 Americans. Right? Major, right? And it's only 2023. By 2060, 95 million seniors, 65 and older.
Wow.
Right. And so that's just capturing those Americans that may have just hit 65 or older. Now, those 65-year-olds, kind of the baby boomers that we're talking about, they've got another 20, 30 plus years of potential need for senior care services.
Yeah, huge. And I think it's been another benefit that we've seen, with a lot of growing technology and healthcare efficiency, that we do get to see this chance for, grandparents into their 90s. I know I have a grandfather who's in his 90s. It's awesome to have him along for this long. And that was harder to do not that long ago, right? But our aging seniors now are living well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond, right? I've just had so much, it's such a great pleasure on my Facebook feed outside of this, talking to all my friends of their 100-year-old grandparents. Like, it's incredible, right? That, however, it does not come, without needs and lifestyle changes, right? Senior care is some of those changes, right? And I think too, part of this growing demand that we're seeing is, extended long, healthy lives of our loved ones. But it comes at, an interesting place for their children, right? If you're familiar with the silver tsunami, with any number of senior care baby boomer wave kinds of terminology, perhaps you've heard the terms the sandwich generation as well, which are the children of our aging baby boomers who are in this position of raising their kids while arranging for the care of their parents, right? That's a big deal. And that has, that's happened a long history for many, centuries, that kind of world. In recent times, I think it has kind of given those adult children of aging baby boomers, more options as to maybe get their care, right? Would you say that has impacted some of this population to maybe open their mind to senior care?
Yeah, I mean, the adult children, most certainly, that sandwich generation, They play a big part in it, right? And if
Yeah.
you look now at how many people are working virtually, they don't have to necessarily work in the towns in which they are, perhaps the hometown that they grew up in. They're still working for businesses there. However, they've moved into the country, they've moved across country, they've moved internationally, right? I mean, there's just so much more of that sandwich generation that is traveling all over the place. Well, and that's fantastic. However, a lot of times their parents remain kind of in that hometown.
Yeah.
They don't always come with them. So they need a solution. They need a solution to be able to have that. And so not only, as we're talking about the sheer number of people in kind of the sandwich generation and kind of driving some of the need for more personalized care to help, step in where they can't be. At the same time, there's also this move away from institutionalized care, right? So, traditionally, right? I mean, if you look way back when, I'm not going to necessarily name any dates, but doctors used to come to the home, right? That was, you would have a physician coming to you. You would be having any number of healthcare events in your life, including, childbirth and so forth in the home, right? And so we, over the course of time and in the growing population have moved to how are we going to take care of so many people to where we've institutionalized this care from hospitals to senior living, your kind of quote unquote nursing home, and any other kind of forms of that senior living. And it met the need, right? It met the need and was the norm. But even since, again, I've talked about 2012 when we launched this business, starting to see the push and the growth in new technologies that allow people to just stay at home, new services that allow people to stay at home. And that is facilitated by the need of people wanting to stay at home. So instead of going to the institutionalized setting, drawing back, getting, being more comfortable, more independent in their own home environment and having the tools to keep them there and remain independent and in their own home. I think all of those things really are coming together at once.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So if we could almost put it like on a chart, right? From what I'm hearing so far, these market conditions are really coming together for an opportunity, right? The end user of the care of senior care is growing exponentially every day, right? We've heard the terms 10,000 individuals turning 65 every day, right? You got that kind of option there. I think traditional services that had been, maybe the role of our loved ones, the adult children, the family, moving in, staying in the same home, being geographically close to the senior who needed that care. Well, that's changing. That distance is starting to, make those options less feasible. And so, however, the care is still at an increasingly high level that sort of demands. So we need to find something else. Again, the other big service that had been very popular in recent years is falling out of favor, or at least, our choices and tastes are changing as far as seniors looking for care. I put that together with an increased maybe focus on staying independent, right? Really kinds of brings us into the market conditions that can give senior care franchises such a huge path to growth, right? And when I see this, if we put all that on the graph, that's why, right? Huge demand, resources available to the family are no longer the best fit. Previous solutions are starting to change, right? It's not just what you and I know the best, right? Here in non-medical in-home care, what we focus on, but this is across the spectrum, right? Would you say you're seeing an increase in multiple kinds of industries within the senior care continuum?
Yeah, most certainly. And I mean, we're talking about anything from helping with mobility needs and helping with wheelchairs, canes, durable medical equipment, hospice, home health, estate sales that are senior specific, placement agencies, home care agencies. I mean, there is so many, and every day just growing to what can be provided to seniors to kind of help facilitate that increased need that they have, which comes with them coming back home and not wanting to have to go somewhere to get things done, right? Bring it into the house. So again, senior care space, very large. There's going to be a lot of opportunities there that are going to meet demand. And, again, why it's so appealing for people to get in, right? Perhaps they have more of the want and need to run their own business, to be hands-on, to do the fixing perhaps of the wheelchairs themselves, and have a van, go and just crush those calls and help people, and that's their calling. That most certainly can be. But again, in this space, you don't necessarily have to have experience, depending on which route you take. So somewhere like home care, really what we're looking for is the compassion, right? We want somebody who has that want and that need to take care of others. And when we can couple that with some solid business systems and really just be able to build a business that helps people with them, that is what fills their bucket. And that is why, that individual would be looking for senior care. And there's a lot of other, reasons why the senior care space in franchising is so popular. And Mitch, we've done webinars on this in the past. So I'm not going to get into why franchise versus just a business, but we know the success rates of starting your own businesses versus a franchise opportunity. So I just wanted to scratch on the surface there. I'm just assuming, people watching this are most certainly looking at franchise opportunities and understanding the benefits of that. And therefore, moving in that direction. But also potentially low barriers to entry, right? We have numerous areas to where there's either little to no licensure or regulation, little to no background that may be needed, other than really the compassion and the work and the drive that home care owners, that you as the owner are going to have to make your success. So pretty low barriers to entry too.
Yeah. I mean, to get to the solution that you're seeing, this kind of, this huge demand for it, the lack of better alternatives, gives you as like an entrepreneur who's thinking of this space, right, a really strong opportunity to kind of take advantage of both of those market conditions to serve your community in a very direct way, right? And it doesn't take, like you mentioned, a huge, resume of long, hard-earned experiences. But yeah, I think you touched on something too. Like, it does take a number of things, but chief among them, when we talk about this, is that passion to help people, right? And almost always, given this huge demand of seniors needing care, the folks who get interested in this business are one of those people, either around maybe the adult children, seniors themselves, whatever it may be. That individual has been part of this industry in one way or another, right? And that gives that individual who's thinking of this as a future business such a deep understanding of what everyone that they will encounter in their entrepreneurial journey, what they're dealing with, right? They know that, mom and dad needed care. They went through a lot of different options, they themselves as the family members. And when they speak to their eventual clients, that's part of it, right? That kind of experience is huge, right? But a lot of folks have it because a lot of our clients continue to come about every day. That experience level continues to grow as well, giving more and more people the kind of insight, the kind of passion, the kind of empathy required to really be a strong owner in the senior care space, right? But yeah, and as you said too, there's just a lot of ways to get into this world. And I would say, yeah, touching on franchising, there's a lot of independent agencies out there and a lot of ways to start this business on your own. But ultimately, should we choose to seek out a playbook that works best for us and lean on a culture that's already built in a franchise system to help with a low initial investment and a faster ramp up to profitability, this is a great move for your investment, right?
Absolutely.
All of these things come together into a home care agency, not unlike a place at home. But
you so happen to have one of those right here.
Hey, right here. It happens. And so let's say we do this. Let's say that we go on this journey as entrepreneurs, looking to make a difference, reading the market conditions, saying this is the right place for investment, the right place for our time, the right move for our families, and get to start to do this business, right? I think the things that they ultimately get at the end, like the promised land they arrive in, right, is also a huge reason why these are one of the massive growing industries in the senior care space, in franchising in general, right? There's just so much here that we get, right? But some of those things that I think about, right, is that the end result is helping someone in need, right? That's it. and you get to do it through a pretty profitable way, right? What else might you think of as someone who's been through this, kind of lived the journey we're discussing here today, right? When you get at the end and you are running this business, what are some of those motivators at the end of the process that might kind of give us insight on why more people want to get involved?
I think just all the stories that I have throughout the years of being in this industry, all the individual people that we've been able to help, the cards at some of our prior clients, funerals that come back, just thanking us for all the support that we provided with the family, people in the community who have used services coming to us and thanking us because of the impact that it made on their family. Any of those things are always constant reminders and as to why we started this in the first place, and that drive us forward. So those are kind of those maybe not initially aware that we were going to have those kind of benefits coming to us. It's just more so let's find a solution. Let's do this thing, and in a space where we feel like we can make a big impact, and then finally seeing some of that impact coming back. That to me, that's been one of the highlights. And I know we have a laundry list of franchise owners, if not every single one, that has very similar stories, right? In which they're helping not only their clients and have them live a bigger, better, more impactful, independent life, but also the same with their caregivers, right? And the opportunities they provide their caregivers to be a better company, to be a better employer than the next person, to know that we're willing to invest and develop in our care staff. And there's an opportunity for growth, right? Across the system, we have so many caregivers that moved up the ranks into administrative positions within the office, and even have some, here in the corporate office today, teaching franchise owners, right? So another, fantastic benefit is just seeing the impact that it also makes on the employees' lives, and allowing them to provide for their families in a pathway of development and growth.
This is huge for me to hear you say this, because I think a lot of folks on the call today will come about this video that will get really excited about the opportunity and understand that there is a huge, opportunity here. This is obviously fast growing. And I think some of them might see maybe the challenge or the roadblock standing in their way is, hiring the right team, developing the best caregivers for their business, right? That's also a motivator. What you mentioned too is seeing that growth of great people providing compassionate care, growing into becoming passionate professionals, and seeing their lives, really level up in a business that you've helped shape for them, right? It may be challenging, but it's worthy. It's something we ought to do. And I think too that this is something that helps us grow pretty quickly, because there are a lot of folks who may have a different understanding of what the challenge is to build your team, right? We're not just talking about home care. Today we are, but in the broad sense, struggles exist in every industry to get your employees. I'm talking pilots, right? If you read anything about recent airlines and their packages to, boost that sector of their employer base, you'd understand that this is happening in every industry. And potentially, should you look at this business for yourself, you may be surrounded by other competitors who are struggling with that too. This is another market opportunity for you, that your competition is not performing in ways that you could. Building your team is difficult. It's worthy, but when you can, that creates a very high barrier to stealing away your business from somebody else, because you've built that kind of pathway for your caregivers. And by the end of it, there's a really strong professional development path for those folks that you're bringing into your business that make your business grow even faster, right? That to me is huge here. So for all those who say, okay, there's got to be a catch here, there's got to be something, it's not without a challenge. But I would say that given the context of our conversation today, senior care is growing, franchising is growing. Bank on your franchise or lean on them to have that kind of recruitment and retention strategy in place that gives you the best opportunity to retain the best team. And that's something you're going to see to grow even faster. But yeah. So Overall, I think this is a huge opportunity for a lot of folks here. Um, I want to kind of, if I can, like draw this whole circle here to these reasons why this industry is one of the fastest growing, right? Um, and it's here at the end, like you said, big motivators why we like to be in this business and why other people get into it. For the entrepreneurs on the call, right, and who are excited about even the step further than that, let's talk about you selling your business, right? What can you do here? Will your business that you've built over these X number of years be in demand and valuable at the time that you wish to exit it, right? Well, I think we have a fairly straightforward answer for that. The client base that is driving all of this growth in our industry will continue to grow till 2060 to the point where they will number nearly 100 million Americans, right? I would say that's a pretty strong bet that your business will be just as valuable and in demand in the future as it is today, if not more so. What do you think about that?
Most certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's something that really shows folks that this is fast growing today. There's a strong reason to believe it will be tomorrow and in the future. For those reasons, it feels like a strong investment for people getting into it, right? To me, that's the thing that draws the whole circle. It's valuable today, it'll be valuable tomorrow. If you're the right person for this, if this industry is the right for you, then be a part of why we get to say that this industry is one of the fastest growing franchise concepts out there. Come on in. There's a lot of ways to get involved. The Place at Home is one of them. But before we sign off and tell the people what's happening next week and how to tune in, any final thoughts here on the fast growing nature of our industry?
Well, Mitch, I think you did a good job connecting all the dots there in that circle. But overall, there is a huge demand. And for those who want to approach that demand in a way that's compassionate, that is coming from the right place, and not just saying, oh my gosh, there's a lot of numbers here, let's go jump on that. But by looking at it first of saying, how many can we impact. I think for those individuals, senior care is most certainly the right industry for them. Find the niche, find the area that gets you going, that you would love to be in as you build a business, and there's going to be sustained opportunities for you. At the end of the day, our mission at A Place at Home is to make great people successful business owners. So, if in-home senior care happens to fit in any one of those buckets for you, please reach out. Mitch Benson, franchise development manager here, would love to be able to speak with you about it.
Well, yes. We'd love to do it. It's a lot of fun to be able to share with folks this opportunity here. So I'm looking forward to speaking to everybody on the call, right? Eventually, but tune in, right? We're back here. Back here as an opportunity to help you see this. In the next week, we're going to be joined by more members of our corporate office to continue the conversation around the growing senior care place, and take it from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Brad Haig, in the comments, sharing with you his experience as one of these folks who gets to help us say that this industry is fast growing. A fast grower himself. He's here starting the business today. And we're so excited to have him in our system. And it's a great place to be. Get after it, Brad. Love you, sending you good vibes. Come down and get some barbecue sometime soon. We're excited for that. But yeah, be like Brad. Join the senior care industry. Do good things. Make Brad happy. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's call. We will see you next week with more A Place at Home on LinkedIn Live.